This is a basic glossary of equestrian terms that includes both technical terminology and jargon developed over the centuries for horses and other equidae, as well as various horse-related concepts. Where noted, some terms are used only in American English, only in British English, or are regional to a particular part of the world, such as Australia. For additional terminology, see also equine anatomy, equine coat color, equine conformation, horse breeding, list of horse breeds, horse racing, glossary of Australian and New Zealand punting, glossary of North American horse racing, equipment, bridle, horse tack, horse harness, horse grooming, saddle, ACE or ACP, slang for the drug acepromazine or acetylpromazine, which is a sedative commonly used on horses during veterinary treatment, but also illegal in the show ring. Action: the way a horse elevates its legs, knees, hocks, and feet, also includes how the horse uses its shoulder, humerus, elbow, and stifle, most often used to describe motion at the trot, but sometimes applied to the canter or gallop. High action is a breed characteristic of saddlebreds and other breeds used in saddle seat of certain harness disciplines. Aged horse: an older horse, originally referred to a horse with a smooth mouth, generally 8 years old or older, but modern use varies. Term may refer to an animal 7 years old or older, 8 or older, 9 or older, or 10 or older. In horse racing and in some horse shows, an aged horse is 1/4 years. In some contexts, an aged horse is older than 16 to 20 years of age. Aging: the process of estimating a horse's age by inspecting its teeth. Adjustment: adjustment, letting out pasture to horse owners. Adjuster: an official of the New Forest verderers who controls grazing on the forest by New Forest ponies and other livestock. AI. See artificial insemination, below. Aids: signals from the rider or driver to the horse that tell the animal what the handler wants it to do. Generally broken down into two varieties: natural and artificial. Other divisions are possible. Natural aids include the hands, seat, weight, legs and voice. Artificial aids, which extend, reinforce, or substitute the natural aids, include items such as bits, whips, spurs, and martingales. Airs above the ground: airs, movements in haute école or high school, classical dressage, where the horse leaves the ground with 2 or 4 feet in response to the rider's commands. Made famous by the Lipizzan horses at the Spanish riding school, the airs include the levade, capriole, croupade, courbet, and ballotade, sometimes called school jumps. Ammeter: an individual who exhibits horses but is not paid money or other compensation, the opposite of a professional. Ambling: a general term for a range of 4-beat intermediate speed horse gaits that are approximately the speed of a trotter pace but far smoother to ride. Various terms for lateral ambling gaits, based on style, speed or rhythm of gait and breed of horse, include the slow gait, single foot, running walk, stepping pace, sobrandando, passo corto, passo llano, ractolt, and passo largo. The term usually refers to lateral gaits, but may be applied to all 4-beat intermediate speed gaits, including the diagonal 4-beat gait, referred to be terms such as foxtrot, passatrot, and troca. The stepping pace, a specific intermediate speed horse gait of slowed down pace. It is a 4-beat lateral gait, where the legs on one side of the horse move one immediately following the other, then the legs on the other side. It is a very smooth gait, and is natural to some breeds. See also gaited horse, below. Ankle: incorrect term for the fetlock joint. The hock most closely corresponds to the human ankle. Arabian or Arab, one of the oldest breeds of horse, noted for small size, dished face, erect carriage, high intelligence and lively disposition. For the namesake peninsula, many other breeds contain Arabian bloodlines. Arena, an enclosed area for training or riding horses. Artificial insemination, the practice of breeding a mare through human-assisted means, with no contact between the stallion and mare. It is done for many reasons, including to protect the two animals, to allow a mare to be bred to a stallion a long distance away, or to allow a stallion to be bred to a larger number of mares than would be possible via natural cover. Australian stock saddle. See stock saddle. Below average earnings index. The AEI measures the earning power of a thoroughbred sire's progeny by comparing the average earnings of his runners with all other runners of the same age that raced in the same country during a given year. Balking or balking, when a horse refuses to move. Multiple causes, including disobedience, fright, and pain or injury. See also napping and jib, barefoot or unshod, when a horse does not wear horseshoes. Bearing rein, overcheck, a checkrine strap running from a horse's back, over the head, to a bit, to prevent the horse from lowering its head beyond a fixed point. Used with harnessed horses. A riding aid where the rein is applied to the horse's neck on the side towards the turn. Opposite of a neck rein. Bell boot, a type of protective boot worn by a horse. Billet, girth strap, girth point, a leather strap with punched holes, permanently attached in sets of 2 or 3 on each side of the tree of a saddle, used to hold and adjust the girth it holds on most types of saddle. See also latigo, bit, an object, usually a metal bar, placed into the mouth of a horse, held on by a bridle and used with reins to direct and guide the animal. Occasionally made of other materials, including rubber, may be solid jointed and may have rollers or other attachments added, usually in the center. Black type, boldface type, used in advertisements and sales catalogs to distinguish horses that have won or placed in an approved stake race. Winners receive uppercase black type, second and third placed finishes have lowercase black type. Blood horse, blood, a purebred thoroughbred or Arabian. Blowing, blow, a sound made by a horse by sharply exhaling through flared nostrils. The blowing sound is not as long or loud as a snort, and may be produced with the head lowered. Most of a sound energy is below 3 kHz and most are audible within 30 meters. Horses may blow when curious, meeting another horse, shying or working. The term is also used when a working horse allowed to pause and catch its breath, or let him blow. Bolting, when a horse suddenly runs away, with or without a rider. When a horse eats its feed too rapidly. Bone, a term of art in equine conformation to describe the quality of certain skeletal structures. Good or poor bone, technical terminology referencing the size and density of bone of the lower leg, which helps determine the weight-carrying ability of a horse. The characteristics of the lower leg as a whole, including the cannon bone as well as associated tendons and ligaments. Flat bone describes a positive feature where the tendons of the leg stand well away from the cannon bone. Tied-in bone describes the negative characteristic of the tendon placed too close to the bone. Botfly, a parasitic fly that lays its eggs on the legs, muzzle, and jaw of horses. The eggs, licked off by the horse and once ingested, hatch into maggots, called bots, which infest the animal by attaching to the stomach lining. The eggs may be scraped off with a bot knife or similar tool. Bow tendon, an enlarged tendon along the cannon bones, are often resulting from heavy work. Box stall, see loose box walking, a stable vice exhibited in horses left in a stable, where they repetitively walk around the confines of the stable. See also weaving branding, marking a horse by burning the skin with a hot iron, or alternatively with a frozen implement. The skin may be balded, or the hair may grow back in a depigmented color. Breeching, a wide strap around the rear of a horse, to hold a saddle in position to allow a harnessed horse to pull back on the shafts or pole of a vehicle to slow it. Breeder, the breeder of a foal is the owner of its dam at the time of foaling. The person designated as the breeder may not have had anything to do with planning the mating of the mare or be located where foaling occurs. Breeding, the pedigree of an animal. Horse breeding, or the selective breeding of animals, a type of horse show competition where horses are led, not ridden. See in hand. Breed registry. See stud book. Bridle headgear, placed around the head of a horse that holds the bit in place in a horse's mouth, including reins, used to direct and guide the animal. Sometimes used to refer to the entire piece of equipment, including headstall, bit and reins. Headstalls that do not have a bit are called either a bitless bridle or a hackamore. Bronco, originally an unbroken feral horse, now primarily a word for the horses used in rodeo bronc riding events, where the horse tries to buck off a rider. May describe any undisciplined horse, especially one that bucks. See also outlaw. Broodmare, a mare that is used for horse breeding. Broodmare sire. See dams are brothers in blood, horses either by the same sire and out of full sisters, or out of the same dam and side by full brothers. Bucking, a behavior where the horse lowers its head and rapidly kicks its hind feet into the air. At liberty, seen as an expression of excess energy. A high spirit under saddle is generally considered a disobedience, except in sports such as the rodeo sports of saddle bronc and bareback riding, where the horse is deliberately encouraged to attempt to dislodge its rider. Bumper pull, a horse trailer style that is pulled by hitch attached to the frame of the towing vehicle near the bumper. Contrast with gooseneck below. Bute, common term for phenylbutazone, a non-steroid anti-inflammatory drug used to control pain and swelling in horses. Some racing commissions and showing authorities restrict its use prior to competition in order to reduce the risk of injury to horses. It is banned in most endurance riding competition. By describes the relationship of a horse to its sire in the context of its pedigree. A foal is by its sire and out of its dam. See cannon. A cannon bone, the third metacarpal or metatarsal bone of the lower leg, sometimes called the shin bone, but actually analogous to the bones in the human palm or foot. In equines, is a very large bone and provides the major support of the body weight of the horse. The term cannon may also encompass the soft tissues as well as the second and fourth metacarpal or metatarsal bones, called splint bones, which may form ossified bridges of bone, called splints, which often form after trauma to the area. Canna. See also dog, a horse of poor quality, referencing animals destined for slaughter. Canna price. See meat money. Canter, a three-beat horse gait with both front and rear legs on one side landing further forward than those on the other side. See lead below. In Western riding, the canter is known as a low. The order in which the feet hit the ground varies depending on which legs are leading, but the gait begins with the outside hind, followed by the simultaneous landing of the outside front and inside hind, finished by the inside front. There is a moment during a canter when all four hooves of the horse are off the ground, known as the moment of suspension. A similar gait is the gallop, which is performed at a higher speed when the second beat is broken into two footfalls, making it a four-beat gait. Carriage, a two-wheeled or four-wheeled vehicle drawn by horses and used for carrying people. The way a horse carries itself, especially the way it positions the head and neck. Cart, a two-wheeled vehicle pulled by one or more horses. A small, light four-wheeled vehicle, usually with bicycle-style tires, used primarily for show ring fine harness competition, and upper levels of pleasure driving. Casting, casting, throwing, forcing a horse to lie down, allowing safe veterinary or other treatment. Usually done by an arrangement of ropes or straps. Cast, the state of an animal laying down that is unable to get up, maybe due to illness or injury. Also occurs when a horse in a box stall rolls over against a wall, trapping its legs against the wall. Castration, the act of neutering or gelding a male horse. Chef d'équipe, a person appointed to manage an equestrian team, generally at the state, national or international level. Chestnut, a reddish-brown coat color with matching a lighter colored mane and tail. Chestnut, a callousity on the inside of each leg, thought to possibly be a vestigial remnant of the pad of a toe not present on the hind legs of donkeys and zebras. See also ergot. Choke, a condition arising from blockage of the esophagus, most often linked to a horse eating too fast. A horse that is choking can still breathe, but cannot eat or drink. Chrome slang for eye-catching white markings on a horse, usually stockings or socks. Also used to refer to particularly flashy pinto or Appaloosa markings. Cinch, a wide flat girth made of mohair, reinforced fell, or an equivalent synthetic material used in conjunction with a latigo strap to secure a western saddle on the back of a horse. Clipping the hair short on or a part of a horse. Different patterns have different names, such as harness clip, hunter clip, etc. Clumper, a half-bred draft horse. Also see heavy hunter. Cluster mare. A cluster mare is a thoroughbred brood mare that has produced 2 or more winners of 5 or more of the 8 most important and valuable races within 6 generations. Coach, a carriage, usually closed and drawn by 2 or more horses. Coach house, carriage house, a building used to keep a private carriage and horses, usually with accommodation for a groom, coachman or other servants above. Essentially a cottage, a small house with stabling below. Cob, a stocky, rather small horse, or a large pony, often a general description, but also applied to certain breeds such as the Welsh cob. A bridle size designed for horses with smaller short heads, usually keeps a long brow band and throat latch to accommodate the wide forehead and jowls of cobs and other horses with somewhat wedge-shaped heads, such as the Arabian of the Morgan. Cold-backed, a horse who arches his back and may buck slightly when first mounted. Cold blood, any of a group of equine types including draft horses and many ponies, characterized by a steady temperament, strength and stamina, but no great turn of speed. Refers to temperament, not literally to body temperature. See also hot blood and warm blood. Colic, any of a number of painful digestive disorders, usually characterized by intestinal displacement or blockage, a leading cause of death among domesticated horses. Colt, a young male horse that has not been gelded. For thoroughbreds, a colt is under 4 years of age. In most other breeds and contexts, a colt is under 3 years of age, sometimes used incorrectly to refer to any young horse. Combined driving, a driving competition that goes up to the international level. Individual events are offered for single horses and teams, and competition incorporates 3 distinct elements: dressage, cross-country marathon, and obstacle cone driving. Conformation, the shape and proportion of a horse's body. Coronary band, or coronet, the area directly above the horse's hoof, a ring of soft tissue just above the horny hoof that blends into the skin of the leg. Includes the bottom of the middle phalanx bone. Counter-canter, a form of the canter where the horse is deliberately asked to canter on a curve with the outside leg leading, which is opposite of usual, also known as gallop, false canter, or counter lead. It is used to help build muscle and suppleness in a horse. See also lead, coupling the sunken area below the lumbar vertebrae of the horse's back, behind the last rib and in front of the point of the hip. Ideally is to be as short as possible. The term is sometimes expanded to include where the lumbar region attaches to the sacrum, covering mating in horses. A stallion is said to cover a mare. See also natural cover and artificial insemination. Crib biting, a cribbing, a stable vice where the horse grabs the edge of an object such as a stable door with its incisor teeth and arches its neck. More severe cases also suck air in simultaneously, and this is termed windsucking. Crop, a stiff, short-handled whip seen most often in English riding. All the foals sired in 1 year, often used to refer to one particular stallion's foals born in the year, but can also refer to a particular owner, an entire breed, or a region, a worldwide crop. Crossbred, a horse that is a cross between two known breeds. Not to be confused with grade, below croup, the top line and immediate underlying musculature of the hindquarters, runs from the tail to the loin, and from the point of the hip to the point of the buttock. Crowhop, a mild form of bucking, a stiff-legged hop with a rounded back. Does not involve kicking up the back legs. See also piglet. Crown piece, headpiece, the portion of a headstall that goes behind the horse's ears. CSF, abbreviation for catch, shoe and float, used in horse for sale advertisements to describe a horse with good ground manners, usually expressed as good to CFS. Curb bit, a type of bit that has bit shanks. It applies leverage pressure to a horse's mouth when the reins are tightened. The degree of leverage depends on the length of the shank and the positioning of the bit. Mouthpiece on the shanks is used in conjunction with a curb chain, a curb strap, so that when the reins are tightened, pressure is also applied to the chin groove, and the headstall applies pressure on the pole of the animal, generally characterized by a solid bit mouthpiece of varying designs, but may have a jointed mouthpiece, sometimes mistakenly called a snaffle. Curb, several possible types of lameness for which clinical signs include a swelling on the back of the lower leg, any of a collection of soft tissue injuries of the distal plantar hock region. Daisy cutter, a horse that moves with long but low movement, considered highly desirable in hunter-type horses. Dam, the mother of a horse. Dam line, see distaff, tail, female dam sire, the sire of the dam of a horse, analogous to the maternal grandfather in humans. Often known as the broodmare sire, or maternal grandsire. Diagonal, at a trot, the set of legs that move forward at the same of the diagonal pair. When a rider posts while riding at the trot, they can rise either matching when the left to the right foreleg and opposite hind leg hits the ground. If they sit when the left foreleg strikes, they are on the left diagonal. If they sit when the right foreleg strikes, it is the right diagonal. When riding clockwise, the rider is to post the left diagonal. When riding counterclockwise, the rider is to post the right diagonal. In other words, when riding a circle, the rider sits when the outside front and inside hind legs are on the ground. 3. In dressage tests, a line crossing the center of the competition ring running from one end corner to the opposite end corner. The diagonal is also used in some driving competition as the route for competitors to safely change direction in a ring or arena when there are a large number of entries. Distaff in racing refers to female horses. Named for the distaff, a spindle used in weaving and traditionally associated with women. In pedigree charts, refers to the entire dam side of the pedigree. Dog, the muscular portion of a horse's tail, where the hair is rooted, sometimes refers only to the upper portion of this area, where the tail attaches to the hindquarters. Docking, to cut a horse's tail at the dock, seen most often on carriage horses to keep the tails from becoming caught in the harness. Traditionally referred to the practice of cutting the muscle and bone, though in modern use, sometimes refers only to the cutting of tail hair. Dog are an animal to be used for pet meat, or a buyer of cattle. A horse is to be used for this purpose. See also can a domestic horse, Equus ferus cabolis, the subspecies of the wild horse that has gone through the process of domestication. Doping, to use a medication that is illegal or used in an illegal manner in order to improve a horse's performance in either racing or showing, or, by an opponent, to harm an animal and cause it to perform poorly. Double bank, to carry an extra person on a horse or pony. Draft horse, a draft horse, generic term encompassing many breeds of large muscular, heavy horses developed primarily as farmer harness horses, used for plowing fields, pulling wagons, logging and similar heavy pulling work. Dressage, a classical form of horse training, involving the gradual training of the horse in stages. An Olympic-level equine sport based on classical principles of horsemanship, involving taking tests designed to gauge the training level of horses in classical dressage. Lower levels of dressage competition are organized by national equestrian organizations, but the higher levels, including the Olympics, are governed by the Fédération Équestre Internationale. Drift, a New Forest term for the gathering of semi-feral ponies for marking veterinary treatment or sale. See also muster and round up. Driving, guiding and controlling one or more horses from behind, such as from a horse-drawn vehicle, behind a plow or other implement, when pulling logs, boats or other loads, or when long reining. Guidance is by long reins and voice, often using traditional commands characteristic of particular areas or cultures. Easy keeper, a good doer, a horse which needs relatively little food to maintain condition and may be prone to obesity. English riding, the style of riding ubiquitous in the British Isles and other parts of Northern Europe, and widely practiced in other parts of the world, especially for disciplines such as dressage, show jumping, cross-country, etc. Characterized by use of a relatively flat saddle. The bridle usually has a cavesson-style noseband, with reins carried in both hands and generally used with steady contact with the horse's mouth. Equestrian, an individual familiar with horses and horse handling. It can also refer to someone riding a horse. The feminine form is equestrian, adjective, referring to the management and use of horses. The equestrian order, an upper-class social rank of ancient Rome, akin to the later knight. Equestrianism, also called horsemanship, the art of handling horses, particularly the art of riding, but also applicable to driving and other disciplines. Equine, any member of the genus Equus. Equitation, the skill of riding a horse, a term for competitive horse show events judged on the rider's ability instead of that of the horse. Equus, the genus including the horse, donkey, zebra and all other surviving members of the family Equidae. Ergotae, small callosity on the back of the fetlocks of equines, often concealed by feathering, thought to be a vestigial remnant of the pad of the toe. See also chestnut, a fungus of the genus Claviceps, growing parasitically on the seed heads of grasses, and sometimes occurring in fodder eaten by horses. Contains large amounts of alkaloids, including ergotamine. These can cause ergotism, a serious condition affecting the nervous and circulatory systems, sometimes leading to permanent injury or death. Eventing, a combined training, a sport horse discipline with competition that goes as high as Olympic level. Includes 3 types of riding: dressage, cross-country, and stadium jumping.